All right, we're back after the break. And so that was really fun talking about PWHL Takeover Tour. And I'm gonna just kind of highlight this. Tonight was actually a big night in the PWHL. We had some big teams going at it, and they're kind of going at it in the playoff push in PWHL. It was a big game in Winnipeg, and then a big game in Minneapolis, St. Paul tonight. Though, Luke, you got a hot tot connected with some of the NHL playoff push. We'll go NHL and then bounce back to the PWHL, and then I got a big thread change that all of you video watchers are going to want to tune in. So, Luke, over to you. Big push time.
Yeah, kind of jumping into the Eastern Conference playoff race here. I kind of see the Islanders and Simber, our Bulgarian insiders, Red Wings, fall off of the playoff line. He might have mushed them.
You
I don't
mushed them.
know,
No,
but
I think I'm gonna pass over. Just like I need to get this mush title a little bit. Like I need to get a little bit of distance from that. I've been the mush guy on the podcast. Like Simeon mushed them.
yeah, he is
Good.
now the
Somebody
mush
else.
monster. Yeah, but yeah, just looking on a couple of the teams that have bumped up uh, on a couple of heaters. We got the Ottawa Senators. Shout out to those guys. They're on a bit of a run here. Uh, Looks like they're finally getting some saves. And the Dogs, Warren Fogle, original digger, he's got 5 goals in 9 games since being traded
The
to the
Digger
Sens.
Award inspo.
Yeah,
He is not meant for Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't respect diggers. You know who does? Ottawa.
Ottawa respects diggers. That guy is on a heater, pushing the Sens into a playoff position. They've got the second wild card, but you even look a little bit higher in the division and you see the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've kind of come out of nowhere. And since rookie Ricky Bones has taken over, I believe they're like 18-2-1 or something. So
Highest
just kind of
coaching win percentage right now. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing some thread changes soon. The Jets ain't doing it. They're not gonna probably get there. But you know who's getting it done? Jet Greaves for CBJ. He's a
yeah.
part of the big. Well, what's the one thing? Get your bingo card out for this one. Show you a good coach. I'll show you a good goalie, and he's being a good goalie.
Yeah, lights out. So pretty cool to see from the Columbus Blue Jackets and Ricky Bones, who maybe some Jets fans are missing a little bit these days. But maybe a bit of a hot tot here, just to put you on the spot. But Ricky Bones comes in. He's coached about 25 games, 20 games. Do you think he steals the Jack Adams from maybe a guy like John Cooper?
Oh, Luke, we're gonna be tossing. I feel like it's a hot potato right now. Like, what do I
Has an interim coach ever won Coach of the Year?
that
Is it
could
possible?
be in the algorithm? I think now. And
Yeah.
if I could hop on this because I really do want to be in on this. What other coaches had more influence on a team than Bowen so far? Like, I think the only thing that's going to hamper him is that it's not going to be a full season.
Yeah.
Though, could you imagine it? Like right now, Luke, in the standings, they actually have home ice now over Pittsburgh, correct?
Yep. They're a point up on Pittsburgh, same amount of games played, so they got the tiebreaker right now as well with
Oh, and
wins.
Pittsburgh's terrible. They've got so many loser points, and I don't want to do a side quest on the overtime loss loser point. You shouldn't get points to be a loser, though that's a side quest. Um,
No.
I would give it to Bones just because I am completely biased for what he did for the Jets and really reset the culture here in our city. Um, yeah, before the break, talking about hockey culture, Bones is a player's coach.
Yeah.
Um, there's been a lot of coaches that have been recycled and put through the league, and now they're not in the league anymore because they have old flavor that's just kind of stale. Um, yeah, Rick Bowness is a genuine human being. um,
Yeah.
the fact that he was probably retiring somewhere nice and warm, and he was talking with Julie, and I think I got his wife's name right. I just always remember him talking about her, and yeah, having to take some time away, and then Scott O'Neill being in there in absentia. Though if you're like retired somewhere nice and warm, I'm sure, and then you get the call from Don Waddell, and you're going to Columbus, and you're just like, hey, I'm going to Columbus. I'm just gonna be there for a little bit. And now, Luke, I don't know if you've heard some of the chatter. There's guys that before they want to sign again, like a guy like Charlie Coyle, like they're actually what is the plan with Bones? Because they want to re-sign if Bones is in charge. Like that's the amount of shift of culture that he's been able to do in this time. And so for me, I'm not a media member. I have no say, though, like 100% biased because he's just such a upstanding coach and lead by example. And he's done it as an assistant coach, and he's done it on all of the different hats that a bench boss kind of has to kind of grind. And if there's a digger coach out there, I don't know who else. Like he's had a lot of experience with the challenge. He was a part of the Ottawa Senators when they actually completely bottomed out in their expansion, I believe. And
Yeah.
so to come back from that, like that's not easy. And there's no doubt why he gets the call when a team is in kind of that like needing a cultural reset. And what he's doing at 71, 72, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
71. He's got the same number connection as Celebrini. Who's doing it better? Bones is staying strong. Celebrini's fallen off for my fantasy. He's not putting it up as much, and the Sharks are falling down in the standings as a result, though that's a side quest. Luke, do you give him the Jack Adams?
I give it to him. Or
Yeah.
if there's like a Digger Jack Adams, that's his.
There's a Rick
But
Bowness award after him.
yeah,
Just name an award and give it to him.
yeah. Kind of
Um,
just speaks to his character though, like you're saying. A lot of his track record is standing up for the team that's kind of needs a bit of a culture reset, and he's been kind of the guy to turn the ship for quite a few of those teams and turn them into playoff contenders. So just
yeah,
credit to that guy.
yeah, and it's one of those things that might be a future connection. And Luke, you're the insider and you got all the connections, though. Might have to have a bit of a coach's sharing circle uh, connection with you and somebody on the pod here because that's something near and dear to my heart is being a coach. I love being a teacher in the four walls of a classroom and bringing the learning outside of those four walls. Though my favorite kind of instruction is actually building team and everybody having a role. Because I'll be honest, I was never the most talented player. Um, I had to work really hard and a bit of that digger mindset to establish a presence within the sports that I was connected with. So for me as a coach now, I see the players that maybe need that skill development, maybe need that encouragement as I kind of craved as being maybe more on the fringe of the talents side. Um, and the way that Rick Bowness as a coach um, has been really successful from all the conversations that I've really dialed into is that he knows his players and he knows what each one needs. And as a teacher, I try to grow that as a part of my practice is each student, you know, you treat each student fair, though there's different things that work differently for each student. And it's the same thing as a coach. There's different ways that you will motivate one player versus another. There's one way that you might have to talk to one player to burn the fire and get 'em going versus another one that really just needs that encouragement in the moment. And, everything that I hear from him really is that he knows his players, he learns his players, and it's just, it's just a Rick Bowness, pump up affair here on the pod. We're gonna do it. Though the only one that I could really maybe challenge that is something that I am, do I do it now or do I do it later? Is it time for a thread change, Luke? I think it
It's
is.
time.
Because I've been wearing the Grow the Game shirt, and for you audio listeners, this is gonna have to be something narrated. Though I always have an undershirt with a collar that has some kind of connection. And today, it's been a long day. It's time to take the collar off. And so, if there's one coach that could do it, it's the coach of the Bison squad, the Buffalo Sabres. Um, as a 204 resident and what's on our flag, uh, it feels like an easy connection for me to go to Pro Hockey Life and find a shirt with the Bison on it, and it's on sale, and that's something that I'm going to invest in. So, so for you audio listeners, you have been played with the Buffalo Sabres and Lindy Ruff. I think probably last year, a lot of people in Buffalo probably would have said, "We've been through enough. It's 14 years. Lindy Ruff is a recycled coach. Um, we need a new face. We need a new voice." I think it's just taken maybe a little more time to establish the culture there. And now what they're doing, like if it's not going to be Bones, I think it's got to be Lindy. What do you
Yeah.
think? If I were to challenge you, what do you think of the Sabres? Absolute wagon. I'm hopping on. We got a wagon pulled by Buffalo Bison.
Yeah, that's a strong wagon. But I'd probably go Lindy as the runner up there too. If it's not Bones's. Um, just to see what they've done and through all the pain and heartache and ownership kind of that they've had to deal with over the last 15
Yeah.
years. Just to see them kind of get back into the playoff picture. It's going to be pretty exciting when the
And-
snow turns to mush.
yeah. 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 And in the Niagara Falls mist, that will be misting the celebrations that I hope for the Buffalo fans. It was one of my favorite things actually going down to Buffalo and driving by that arena when I did a road trip in 2011. Um, it was the off season, yet you can kind of just feel a presence in the city of sport, and they're just yeah, it's the Bills, it's the Sabres, like that's that's what the city bleeds and the threads that color the streets. And so I'm really excited to kind of hop on that one. Um, and I think that would be a two-headed coach race. There might be some that would say like what oh the Pittsburgh coach is escaping me. It's something humor. It's something with an H, though I'm not respecting the name. Um, but what Pittsburgh has been able to muster in in a season where they weren't really counted on to they were probably going to be fringe at best. Did I
Dan Muse.
what's that?
Dan Muse.
Bad Muse didn't even get an H, completely mushed him. I wanted to say Hume. It's what is it again? Muse.
Muse.
Don't mess with
I,
the
I
Muse.
might have mushed, but spell like Muse. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, that sounds like how it should be. Um,
yeah.
so because we can't even really say his name, I guess like third, and that's a mush metal. That's what we
You
call that. not
We
even
mushed him, so he's not gonna win it.
and Simeon, you're off the hook again. I'm the mush guy. You're not even on the pod, and I got the belt back. So um, I really like that coach connect there. Um, it's gonna be exciting what happens down the stretch. I must say, um, to see
Yeah,
a place like Buffalo buzzing, I- like Luke, I think it isn't just a heater that both of these teams are, like Columbus and Buffalo. Like they're playing really well. Like they've really bought into the system. The coaches set the culture, and there's the expectation of success now. Um, what do you think going into the playoffs for both those markets, for both those teams, and who they might be playing? Nobody knows yet because at the bottom we still have the fight with the Senators, the Bruins. Who else is in
Islanders,
that wild
Red
card push?
Wings. Yeah, we got Schaefer and the Islanders.
Right.
He just played 32 minutes last night, broke a 18-year-old record. I believe the shots on goal when he was on the ice were like 30-8. So he's just dominant out there. So they're still in
He
the
is doing
mix.
is crazy. I have to say that, and I have to blurt in like what he is doing and how he's transformed that squad. We've said it a bunch of times on the pod. Like
Yeah.
generational talent. And I don't think people really knew because he missed quite a bit of time in his draft year what
Yeah.
you were getting. Though how fortunate for the New York Islanders to get that pick.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
They got the lottery odds that year. So
yeah,
maybe 204 can get a little bit of that luck this year.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, to get a defenseman, I have one earmark, but I think that would be a draft. Once we know the rankings, we're definitely gonna have to do a draft puck talk. Um,
Yeah.
though with that mush, Ottawa is in right now. I'm excited for Ottawa because selfishly I have some Senators on my fantasy team, and that team has been through the ringer this year. I think if they would get in with all the adversity that they've been through, I think you better look out for the Senators because they've been
Yeah.
playing for their lives for months, it feels like.
Yeah. They've got the battle tested scars and wounds that they've built up. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that'd be a tough out.
yeah. Oh, because would it be Ottawa and Buffalo? That would be a heck of a series.
It would be, that'd be a
I,
great series.
yeah, I know I say Ottawa, you got to look out, but if they're into the up against the Buffalo way, I think Buffalo is expected like it's going to be way over 100 points this season, and they might
Yeah.
just get that Atlantic Division. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. Hence why I bought the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Shifting over from the NHL there. Um, PWHL tonight was a big night in just sort of south of the 49th in Minnesota. And my daughter won't like this, but I actually love the Frost's threads. I just love the purple, and I think it was so fitting that they decided to do that because you got the um, the lovable losers, the Vikings, also repping the purple. Unless if it's a Christmas day and Snoop Dogg's in the house, then you go Winnipeg whiteout style. I don't know if anybody remembers that game, though
Yeah.
that was a fun one. Shout out Snoop because he's also
Shout
trying
out
to
to
get
that
our
guy.
NHL EA Sports Land connection. So
Always in the building.
always in the building. You never know when he's going to pop on. So,
Yeah,
oh,
we had a big game there,
break it down.
Montreal versus Minnesota, and um, big for the standings wise. It's kind of determined the second and third seed teams, and Montreal came out with the 3-0 win, so they just jumped over Minnesota for second place in the standings. Debian with a shutout, her fifth of the year, and I believe she's been in some MVP conversations. So pretty cool to see a goalie always in the league MVP. Um, conversations. I
Yeah,
know
have to do
a
some
goalie.
math, eh? Like,
Yeah.
how many games have they played so far? Is it 30 already?
Yeah. Yeah. They're at hang on, 27 or 22 only.
22 games, and how
Yeah.
many has she played and she has 5 shutouts? Okay, my goodness. I got some Manitoba math challenge right now, but
Yeah. Let's
oh my
see.
goodness. MVP for sure.
Yeah. Shades of Connor Hellebuck last season with his MVP season.
Yeah, yeah, she's just doing it in the P-dub.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Oh, love to see it. Love to see it, especially after a tough, missing out on the color medal that, I know she would have preferred to have around her neck.
Yeah.
Though, what she's doing in a standout year for the Victoire. Um, yeah, and with the takeover tour game that was in Winnipeg, losing that one in overtime was a little bit of a tough one for them because Marie-Philippe Poulin just got put on the IR or she whatever list that like not on the main squad, and there was a lot in the chatter that I was finding that the Victoria can get away with some games against some of the lower tier competition without Poulin, but come playoff time, if she's not on the squad, um, she's a real difference maker. Like we all know that in Canada, what she's been able to do for the women's squad. So that was a big win after a tough overtime loss against the Charge in Winnipeg.
Yeah. And just to put a bow on Renee Debian, she's got 19 games played, 121 goals against average, 952 save percentage, and 5 shutouts.
Holy, what a stat line. Come on. 952 save percentage?
Yeah.
So you have to get like over 20 shots even to get a decent chance?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
it was one of those things I kind of had shared this prior to the break with my talk with Kenzie Lalonde, commentator, play-by-play analyst for the PWHL. Um, she had said the quality of play is like something that people need to tune into. And I said, with the culture that you're building, it's an amazing product. And she said, the goalies are absolutely dialed in. You would almost maybe think that there would be more goals, though in this, like the way that the goalies are locked down, I was very impressed just at the takeover tour game of the high quality chances, something that I would chalk up on the line of goals saved above expected. Like there was some amazing saves, cross ice feeds, and then the lateral movement on the goalies to push off and save those. Like that's how the goalies get beat in the National League, but they
Yeah.
weren't getting beat in that same way the other night. So very impressive what she's doing, and she's not alone. I believe it's Frankel with the Boston Fleet. She's
Yeah.
been on a heat or two this year.
Looks like it's kind of a two-headed goalie race for the MVP. Frankel, she's got 20 games, 123 goals against average, and also a 952 save percentage. So those two goalies are just leading the charge for their teams and willing themselves to the top of the standings. So
Yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting come playoff time how that play gets elevated for the players and how the goalies also rise to the challenge. I'm
yeah,
excited
if we
to
get a
watch.
Boston Montreal series, does the game ever end? How many overtimes are we going?
How many overtimes we go? It might set a Guinness Book of World Record for longest game. My goodness.
Yeah. Over
952 out of
under
those
for
seven.
total goals might be one.
Yeah. In in a 7-game series, 7 goals.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
trade shutouts back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll love to hear it, and it's, oh, I forget who coined it, but, everybody likes to be like, "Oh, the goalie won the game," like, the goalie was g like, the goalie's allowed to be good. Like, the fact that the goalies are good, you're allowed to be a good player and may be a difference maker. It doesn't just have to be the 5 outside of the crease, so, uh, loving the P-dub talk after, some big flavor taste, this past weekend. Um, Going into both of these playoffs, Luke, if you had to pick, like, a dark horse, because it's kinda one of those things, it's just kind of a hot tot for me, kinda off the top of the brain. Um, People would have said, like, Buffalo, being kind of, a could have, like, snuck in there. They became an absolute wagon, and now they're all the way at the top, so, like, they're not a dark horse anymore, like, they're they're a conqueror right now. Um, and then, on the western side, we haven't really paid attention too much of that one because we had the CBJ, Columbus Blue Jackets and the Buffalo. Though in both of these leagues, we could talk P-dub or the National. Is there a team that's kind of you've seen in the standings where you're like, "Oh, they might be a little bit of a dark horse candidate?"
Yeah. I kind of look over to the west side and see a team like the Utah Mammoth who
Yeah,
they're going to go up against the well, if it stays as is, they'd be playing Anaheim Ducks right now. And as Connor McDavid put it, the Pacific Division race is a bit of a pillow fight right now. So um, I could see there being a couple upsets uh, on that side of the division. And if Utah does go up against the Ducks, I think that'd be a favorable matchup for them with kind of both teams being more run and gun style. And
yeah,
yeah, I'd be pulling for the Mammoth.
yeah. I would want to catch every game of that series because that series would be definitely run and gun. You have 2 young teams that are kinda getting their feet wet with the postseason play,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things for both of those coaches, like, Quenneville has been through it. Tourigny is kind of he's been through it in the junior level. Um, I would love to see that, and you kinda took my dark horse pick if I had to pick one. Um, Because the Mammoth actually have the more favorable bracket if you're looking at it as kind of, a playoff bracket, so to speak. To kinda get back to your pillow fight, if we could just, like, go back to there for one moment. Um,
Yeah.
I heard on, Daily Face Off with those guys, I'm pretty connected with those guys. Those guys have a lot of good content. Um, it has been, like, maybe 5 times in the whole history of the league since the league has grown to the multi, division format. But it was one night this past week where all of the teams in the Pacific lost. All 6 lost in the same night. That's happened, I think, in the course of what has been since the league has grown. Um, like a handful of times where a whole division loses. Like you said it, and actually, like Davo said it. If we're quoting Tom Wilson on the bench for Canada, Davo said it. It's a pillow fight. Like who is going to come out of this?
You just take like a look across the league at like each division leader and their goal differential. You see the Colorado Avalanche, they're plus 86. You look at the Buffalo Sabres, they're plus 43. You see the Carolina Hurricanes, they're plus 41. You go down to the Anaheim Ducks, they have a negative 5 goal differential and they're leading the division.
Yeah, yeah. I heard something crazy that the whole division, if you stacked it on top of each other, it's the only division in the whole league that actually has a negative goal differential as a whole division. Like, if there's any petition to change the playoff format, like, this would be your year to be, to be a prosecuting attorney, to actually go to Gary Bettman as another attorney and be like, "Do something." It's just
And we talk about like the playoff format and how it's if we're looking at that format where it's the Ducks against the Mammoth and it's the first place in the Pacific against a wild card, you go over to the league standings and Anaheim's sitting in 14th spot and the Mammoth are in 16th spot. So only two spots are separating those two teams from first in the division and wild card on the other side of the division. So pretty crazy stuff there.
oh my goodness. Yeah, like, it's just kinda sad, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things. Um, I feel like Vegas, maybe if they had their heart and soul guy, Stone, they'd be a little bit of a different. I feel like they play different with that guy.
Yeah.
I a lot of people like to maybe like dog him with like the issues and the injury and maybe the inconsistency with not being able to play the full slate. Though he's a really big heart and soul guy and he plays really hard. He's
Yeah.
a really good leader, and I think that's a bit lost with them and maybe their identity as a team. Though I think like what we talked about before, like show me a good coach and what Bones and Ruff are doing, and I'll show you a good goalie quip. Um, Vegas's goalies have been terrible.
Yeah.
Aiden Hill is in the bottom of the kind of like if you take all 32 and you have the starter or the 1A 1B and you times the 32 by 2, so you got the 64 goalies. He's in the 50s of the rankings. Um and he won the cup like a couple years ago. It's just kind of crazy that you could go on a heater and do that. And then
Yeah.
there's Kira Schmid from the Swiss Threads, who's not having a great year either. And so that's one. And then I feel like I'm just like beating a dead horse with this one. Pardon the horse analogy, but in oil country, like you just can't figure out the crease for a Davo.
No. We trade away Skinner. He kind of goes on a bit of a run now with Pittsburgh. And Tristan Jarry gets there. You kind of see the reports coming out where he's kind of going at it in practice with the team. He's not performing at the level they want to. He's got they're stuck with his contract for like the next 3 years, like 5.5 million. Like,
What do you
where do you
do with
even
that?
go? Yeah,
I don't know. I know probably like Stan Bowman was trying to do something with that. Though I feel like you had different options. Like you weren't handcuffed to that one.
yeah.
I maybe it's easier said than done.
When McDavid takes a pay cut like he did on the contract, and you're replacing it with Tristan Jarry,
Uh,
I don't know if that's keeping that guy around long term.
that's a tough look, eh? Where you just give it to the guy who can't even do it, and I don't know. Like it's kind of one of those things where goalies being very up and down, um, momentum swinging position and confidence. Like so much of the game is mental for that one, from my assessment. And the whole idea that like you just get hot for like a time and you could just go on a heater. Like if we're going back to the Pacific Pillow fight, um, that's a new moniker now. The Pacific Pillow fight. They should get Sealy or Posturepedic to sponsor that one. Um, if we had to pick out of all of those teams, like which one has a goalie that actually has a potential to go on a heater? Like, is it like have to be Anaheim because of what Dostal did for the Czechs? Like that's just what kind of comes to mind for me. How about you, Luke?
Yeah, if I'm looking at the teams in the Pacific there, I'd say the only goalie I really have somewhat any trust in would be Dostal. So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, McDavid can do his magic and we'll see how far that takes the Oilers. But at the end of the day, we've got to make the stops too. So,
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be
Just
interesting to see who comes out of that division.
yeah. One of my daughters being an Oilers fan, I feel like it's gonna be a tough year where it's like you just got to the dance back to back and like if the Oilers play the Knights, which could happen with this pillow fight, right? Like
Yeah.
I think the Oilers actually get through that one just based on their elite talent and with Draisaitl and McDavid driving the bus there.
Yeah.
And Connor Ingram is kind of like just held it together good enough.
Yeah.
But but like for me getting back to the dark horse kind of thing, like yeah, I think it is the Mammoth in the West. Um in the East, I kind of want to pick the Senators, and it's one of those things I almost like want to make this connection, and this is maybe just like selfish culturally, and I played with his cousin, though James Reimer and what he's been able to do going to the Senators and just providing like another like a B option
Yeah.
for Linus Allmark has kind of been I don't know. I've seen that guy in his hockey DB, like he's a suitcase and he's kind of going all over the place. Though the fact that you keep getting called shows that you're a character guy and that you could come into a space and not overwhelm a room or just be a good guy. And I don't know, every vibe that I get from James Reimer, I just get a good sense of a solid dude and human. And with all that he had to endure going through what he did in Toronto after that collapse, like that collapse was not on him. But the fact that he's been able to keep doing it for as long as he's done it, can you imagine if the Oilers maybe called him? Like, I'm just doing a
Yeah.
little revisionist history. Like, imagine if the Oilers called Reimer. Ugh,
What could have been?
nobody knows.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things for me, my dark horse, should they get in, would be the Senators. Because I think even the Senators playing against Buffalo, who is an absolute wagon right now, the Sabres are playing with house money and it's like buzz, buzz, buzz. Though the playoffs are a different animal. Um, when the goaltending comes in there as well, I wonder what a guy like UPL, right? Ukko-Pekka, right?
Yeah.
Right? UPL. What a guy like that, when that pressure comes on, and then okay, like we've been on this here for the season. Now we're in the postseason. Uh, how that game translates. They're a really good systems team, and they have an incredible back end. I just, for me, I think my dark horse, selfishly, because I have so many connections on my fantasy team, is Ottawa. If you had to pick one in the East, what would you pick?
Yeah, I could see Ottawa being a dark horse, but I'd take a look over to the Metro and maybe see what Sidney Crosby can do back in the playoffs.
Yeah,
See if
yeah,
he can go on a little Cinderella run himself.
yeah, and Skinner being a part of the last two. Um, imagine he does it again. That
Yeah,
would be awesome. That would be awesome.
what a story that would be.
Um, and also kind of looking at those teams that are kind of trying, like even a team like the Islanders could be somebody that kind of gets in that wild card. And
Yeah,
I just kind of have like memories of like the Islanders and Carolina, if memory serves me right. Like if those two match up, um, well, Rod the Bot is gonna lose it again. I feel in a post presser. I
yeah,
go with Luke. I like the Hurricanes. I want to see Nikki do good. Love Seth Jarvis. I watched his special on the Prime Hockey special. Um, though I just don't trust the Canes. When it comes to postseason. So
yeah. They just haven't shown me enough at that time of the year that they can get over the hump. So
yeah,
have to see if Nikki Ehlers is the missing piece or if they'll still be searching in the off season again.
yeah, yeah. And there's not a lot coming to the free agency, so you're gonna have to go and
No.
search in the trade pool. But
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's a good little playoff break. We're breakdown. We're going to do a little break from the breakdown, and we'll be right back. All right. Well, we're gonna finish off with some 204 talk with the concluding thoughts for today. Um, Luke, I am gonna just like prime this by saying like I'm just tired of on the big networks the articles that pop up, whether it's like Jets uh pushing for the playoffs, Jets are are dialing it in, Jets are like or the players quickly. Like I know that they're competitors and I know that they're not gonna say anything different. Though like if you had to give like a really honest assessment of like what what's best for the roster going forward, I think we're both going to be maybe a little biased, but could I toss it over to you? Is it playoffs or is it playoff or Verhoff? I'm going to give that as a primer.
Yeah, you could probably see by my yawn there. I'm pretty tired of those articles as well. But I'd be jumping more on the Verhoff side of things. You take a look at the standings, and we got like a 5 point gap between us and the Nashville Predators. There's like three teams in between us that would also have to crash and burn for us to pass. So I just don't see it happening. Um, and I think for the long-term health of this organization, some luck with the lottery balls would do us some good.
Yeah, and it isn't that far removed that we could go back in the 204 time machine, so to speak, and when when we got some fortune with getting a Finnish sniper who I thought was going to be the Finnish Flash 2.0 in Patty Laine. So, like, to do the whole trade tree, I don't think that like Patrick Laine played well here, and then we flipped him for Dubois, and then we
Yeah,
flipped Dubois for Velarde, and then
Velarde.
yeah, Iafallo, and those guys are two quality pieces on the roster, and they're both signed. So like it's never something with just because one guy doesn't pan out. Always follow the trade tree, though.
Yeah,
It's one of those things, Luke. As I kind of like almost look forward to the draft, and I'm following a little bit more of the 204 playoff that will be in Western Manitoba. And is there going to be a Winnipeg whiteout behind me, audio listeners? That's a picture I got from my cousin through marriage, and it's a picture of a Winnipeg whiteout. No, there's not going to be a Winnipeg whiteout, but I just saw on the forecast for Western Manitoba, be prepared for a big whiteout. And is that something that might be happenstance? I don't think so, Luke, because guess who is going to the playoffs? It's the Brandon Wheat Kings. They're locked in. The season just ended. I'm not on the tools as uh close, though I'm actually gonna be excited and dialed in with the Western League with the playoffs. And I have another little 204 connection. I learned that Mark Scheifele is actually part owner of the Penticton V's. So if you didn't know that, now you know that. And so that's another one to connect with. And Luke, I'm going to put you on the spot for the audio listeners. This isn't great, but my hat has a leaf on it. I'm going to bring it into the frame a little bit more for you video. Luke, what do you see inside of that? Because I got this hat on sale at Pro Hockey Life. Are you seeing you know, I'm just gonna ask you because I'm gonna make a quick connect.
yeah. I'm seeing a little. It's looking like a number six with the maple leaf around it. It's got a little cutout in it as well. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
because I asked my students the other day, I said I got this new hat. I wore it for actually the for the celebrating women in sport. Needed a nice, just clean black hat, kind of my formal hat in Canada and all the kind of connections. So the leaf. but I actually thought it was kind of like more like this, like I'm making the hand gesture, like okay, and I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to wear it more as like a self-deprecating thing because like Canada hockey, it's just okay. It's not cool. But actually, if you go into the back, in the frame, it says BC Clutch. That is an actual company. I had to do some more research on it. So this is the 204 connected with Across the Rockies, which I'm about to go for a little a little trip on spring break. Um, Across the Rockies, we got the 204 connection with Marky Mark, Shafley, and the Penticton V's. They've had an amazing year as an expansion kind of franchise coming from the BCHL to the Dub. So that's kind of a fun connection. And then something that I'm going to selfishly kind of plug because he's one of the top prospects. And if you're not dialed in with the national, tune into what's coming up in the Mem Cup. Uh, the Memorial Cup's being hosted in Kelowna this year, and one of my favorite players growing up, his son, is playing for the Kelowna Rockets. None other than what we had in our prior segment, the Utah Mammoth Dark Horse cornerstone pick, Tej Aginla. So yeah, are the Jets going to do it? No, but there's a lot of puck talk in and around the 204 connections. Um, Luke, you're on the Verhoeff, and we'll have to dive a little bit more into maybe some of the other picks that could be in play for our Jets. Though, is there any as maybe like a concluding thought? And this is me just selfishly wanting to talk about different jerseys and stuff, because I'm kind of a gear nerd and I just bought another one. Is there one like WHL team or one of the CHL teams that like if you had to represent, what's one of the ones that you would that maybe you have some connection to or something that you would rep?
For me, I think you kind of go east. I know as a kid in the NHL games, I'd always in my be a pro career join this squad for the CHL run. But I really like the Halifax Moosehead Threads. We
Oh,
had Nick Ehlers played out there, Nate McKinnon, other big boys in the league went through that system. So I like those threads.
yeah, and being from the 204, the Manitoba Moose and the Moose Head, like I just have to draw the connection there. Uh,
Yeah.
and for full circle Todd, going back to beginning and the celebrating women in sport, Kenzie Lalonde was actually play by play, and that's kind of what that gave her start was the Halifax Mooseheads. And
Wow.
me being like completely ignorant, and I thought she was like maybe I don't know. I had no idea. I'm like, did you when you were play by play, did you like cover Nikolai Ehlers? And she's like, no, that was before my time. And I'm like, oh, did I just like show my age? I guess I'm the geezer of the podcast. And if I go to a media event, uh, people that are involved in media are quite a bit younger, Luke. That's not something that anybody's going to hold against me, though. I hope not. Oh, thanks for thanks for humoring me with that one. For me, like I think I would love to get some more connection with Brandon Wheat Kings. That's just like an automatic for me.
Yeah.
Being a farm boy growing up, and wheat being the staple crop that was every year that me and my dad would go on crop tours to see when the wheat had bearded was the proper term for the type of variety of wheat, and that it was full. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things at the end of our puck talk here. Thinking about the growth of the game, thinking about um, the weekend that was for both of us, for you growing in your game and with Sledge and Team Manitoba out out in Quebec where the 32 Tots time machine took us with the first organized game, and that being the start. And you you going and then coming back, and then uh, our experience, a collective experience in the city of the PWHL takeover tour and the growth of the women's game and the media of the media coverage with celebrating women in sport and Liz Hood. It just kind of feels like I'm trying to tie a bow on this, and feels like growth and for me and my upbringing and where my roots are. Um, yeah, might have to get a Brandon Wheat Kings jersey and
Yeah.
represent it. Might be passing through the lands come Saturday when we hit the Dusty Trail. We head west. So, um, Luke, any including thoughts for you before you're going on a jet plane too? Hey, we're both going on a bit of a vacay. So,
Yeah, we're headed out to the Sunshine State, so gonna catch some warm weather and some relaxing over the next week. So looking forward
uh,
to that.
enjoy the sunshine. I'm gonna be in the mountains, and whether the sunshine finds us, it nobody knows. Even the weather people, I don't think can predict it in the mountains. That's a mushy forecast area to try and figure out. So from the two of us, Luke, it's been good to run side by side. That was that was a fun puck talk. How uh, how do we
Yeah,
feel going into the break and then after? Recharge and come back with the batteries charged.
oh yeah, we're gonna be buzzing when we come back. Um, Tots are gonna be nice and hot as we preheat them over the next week. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
forward to
we'll definitely be buzzing in the chat. We'll check in on Felicia's status, activate him off of the IR, and then we don't have the cap implications going into the playoffs.
it.
Um,
Yeah,
Nobody knows about our Bulgaria insider. I could probably get him back on for some of the dive into the World Championship and how Bulgaria is doing in Div 2, Div 3. Um, and if Steven Stamkos doesn't make the playoffs, then he has his alma mater playing in those events because he can't make Team Canada. So um, that's tough look for Bulgaria and the insider though. We we're all about fun. It's been fun talking, Luke, and yeah, stay connected. Feel free to comment, and one of the things I wanna incorporate going forward with the 32 Tots time machine, is there a moment in the time machine you want to travel back to? Um, we're headed to the playoffs. I'm gonna bring back to a moment that was a core memory for me as a kid, and so might take a little break from the hockey origins and have some of those core time travel moments, and I can do a little bit of a recap on that. So as always, it's always fun. Puck talk's always moving, and thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.